IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. A great mix of young drivers looking to make a career in motorsport and those who still just do their motor racing for fun. It's the second half of the season and the paddock has reconvened at the marvellous venue of Watkins Glen International in upstate New York. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindhaugh from IMSA Radio, and Jeremy Shaw will be alongside me in a few moments' time for our second race of the weekend. The weather is absolutely perfect, perhaps a little too hot in the heat of the day, but this early morning start for our second Porsche Cup race means that the conditions are just about perfect. The Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, very popular with tourists, and you've only got to look at the countryside around here to understand why that's the case. And the Watkins Glen International Circuit, just under 3.5 miles, has challenged everything from Formula One, NASCAR, and of course the endurance racing GT and sports cars down through the years. And its character hasn't changed very much since the day that it was carved out of the rolling green countryside. Incident and accident already through practice and qualifying. Indeed, our race 2 pole sitter Trenton Estep a little fortunate to be out there.
Yeah, to be even on track right now is kind of a miracle. We had a little bit of an incident Thursday afternoon, and went in the wall in turn 11 and then got hit by another competitor. But the guys at JDX stayed up all night Thursday and Friday morning to get the car fixed. So to be able to be on poles is really remarkable from the guys at JDX. So to even be here is awesome.
As always, two different types of cars. The Gen 2 are the Platinum class, black number panels and black mirrors. Gold class have yellow mirrors and yellow number panels. A little less power and downforce for those gold class cars. Pretty tidy start to our first race of the weekend, then a problem for Greg Palmer, who lost it coming into the heel of the boot. Mark Kavame diving down the inside and spinning Victor Gomez the fourth, and that brought a drive-through penalty for Mark, penalised for initiating that contact. Fred Podard also taking a run through the grass on the inner loop, and at the front of the field, Roman De Angelis wins in the Platinum class, whilst in gold, Kurt Vasikas took the top step of the podium. The field in behind the bright red Porsche safety car. Well, not quite right behind it at the moment. They need to pack up a little bit as we come round to the green flag. We'll be racing at Watkins Glen International next. Second of two races for the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama here at Watkins Glen International. It's the sailing 6 hours of the Glen IMSA weekend. There's a big crowd, and they are knowledgeable and love their sports cars. This Porsche Cup, one of the development series, and watch out for these names in the future. Trenton Estep and Roman De Angelis on the front row. Trenton with a big thank you to his JDX team, who had to rebuild his Porsche after he was caught out with a passing shower of rain on Thursday. He was on slick tyres, lost the car into the wall. Victor Gomez on row 5 is our Gold Cup pole sitter. He's got quite a few platinum guys behind him. That's a feather in his cap. Inside of row 7, Kurt Vasikas is the gold winner from yesterday, and he will be looking to make up some ground and put pressure on Victor Gomez, who is leading that category to the green flag here. Looks like they're all out on the circuits. Sebastian Carrazzo, the 27 car, was the other car involved in that incident on Thursday, and that car also back out there. Perfect formation coming out of the penultimate corner of the second pace lap. The Porsche Turbo is already in the pit lane. The field is under control of poleman Trenton Estep. The black and gold classic Hertz colours will bring the field round to a green flag, which is not yet in the air. Now it is, and we're racing. Good breakaway from the pole sitter. Heads down towards turn number 1. He's got half a car's length, but that's all. Coming round the outside is Roman De Angelis. Maxwell Root in the white and red car has a look down the inside. David Coltman getting a good run as well, as he did down in the first corner yesterday at the start. And he's eased himself up, I think, into 4th position. Yes, he has, ahead of Gregory Boss. 3 wide going through. The S is further back down the field, and there's a slight intake of breath from Jeremy Shaw and myself there, because we've seen that happen before. Bill Smith in the burnt orange number 42 going around David Baker there, I think, and try and get on terms with Kurt Fazekas, who is one of the other GT3 Gold class cars. 2 different types of cars here, Gen 1 and Gen 2 for the Cup cars, the latest versions of the Cup cars. The Platinum class cars with black door numbers and mirrors and gold headlights, gold mirrors and gold door squares for the gold category. And it's all gold at the moment at the front, well, black and gold anyway for Trenton Estep, who has done the job that he needed to do, Jeremy, and has just eased out away from the field.
That was a picture-perfect start, absolutely perfect formation coming up to the green flag. Great start there by Trenton Estep, jumped onto the throttle. Roman De Angelis thought about trying to go around the outside of turn 1, but Trenton was having none of that. Nice, clean start. Tell you what, they're over at the inner loop. The number 3 car, the race leader, Trenton Estep, he got a lot of air coming off that corner. He hit that last, the 3rd curve effectively pretty hard. The car was way up in the air, but kept control, no dramas. He leads this motor race from Roman De Angelis in 2nd place.
Cracking scrap going on for 8th, 9th and 10th position behind Fred Podard in the bright blue Porsche. Here comes the blue and Etruscan orange machine. Mark Kavame having a look at Charlie Luck, and Mike Levitas is in there as well. Victor Gomez in that fight as well. Victor Gomez having a look down the inside, but Kavame's gone through. Kavame's gone through into 10th position ahead of the number 25. Now, they came together on the Saturday race, and Victor Gomez lost the lead of the Gold Cup category when Mark Kavame ran into him. This time Kavame's made a clean pass and goes through into 10th position. They're not in the same class. I don't think Victor Gomez was overly impressed with the rather desperate lunge that Mark Kavame put on him in the race yesterday, which cost him a shot at the win. He recovered very well and came in 3rd position, yes, Victor Gomez. But that was he will think of that as points lost, Jeremy, not points gained, I think.
He will. The good news is he has a pretty handy advantage over Kurt Fazekas. It was 21 points coming into the weekend, and even with Kurt Fazekas winning yesterday for the 2nd time this season in the Gold Cup Class 4 Kelly Moss Road race, it's still a 16-point edge for Victor Gomez coming into today's 8th round and the halfway point in the season.
2 races planned for each event weekend. We've had 4 events. This is the 4th of 8 events, as Jeremy says, which will go to, I'm sure, we'll be counting points all the way to the season finale at the Petit Le Mans event in Road Atlanta in October. Certainly that's what happened in the Gold Cup category last year. Trenton Estep leads, but only by half a minute. The battle's further down the field then, coming to the end of another lap, leading out a little group of 5 or 6 cars. The 34 is 12th in Platinum Masters. It's the white car coming to the final corner now. Then behind him, Kurt Fazekas 2nd in that dark purple and green, almost old Porsche 908 hippie type colours and 917s. And he's going to lose a position down to turn 1 as through comes the white and red number 23, and that's Fred Keimer coming through the field. Fazekas then down to 16th position, still 2nd in class. The problem for Fazekas is there's more cars now between himself and the class leader Victor Gomez, who's up in 11th. Nobody ahead of Trenton Estep, who's going through the inner loop now with Roman De Angelis. Roman De Angelis just sitting in 2nd position, just starting to feel a little bit of heat from Maxwell Root. Max Root in the red-fronted car with the white and blue styling on it. He's in 3rd, and then David Coltman in the dark grey with the red and white stripes on of Park Place Motorsport. He's in 4th position in the 71.
And those 3rd and 4th place cars, Max Root and David Coltman, they were absolutely almost tied together as they came across the start-finish line, but a great run through turn 1 and through the S's. A purple sector 1 for Maxwell Root.
issue for the...
Number 20, that's Fred Poordad.
Yeah, Fred Poordad, who was well up inside the top 10, and in fact was leading the Platinum Masters category ahead of Alan Metney, and he's off at turn 1, and there's damage to that car. Now, this may bring out the bright red Porsche Turbo safety car. We've only had 5 minutes of racing. Right rear damage to the number 20, and Fred looks like he's going to try and drive it out of harm's way. He's over to the pit lane exit at turn 1, which means he's not on the racing line. No pit stop scheduled for this race, so he might be all right there. Are we going to need a full course yellow? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Double yellow flags out at the start-finish line, just down to our left from the IMSA Radio broadcast booth. And Estep will be able to take a breather. Could not break away. IMSA Porsche Cayenne GTS heading to the scene of the problem. In fact, there's one already there. The second one's already on its way. Fred's fine. There's just a little bit of discussion on about how that car's going to be recovered.
That's a shame. He had a super run this weekend. He had his career best qualifying yesterday.
Jeremy, I was wrong. I thought he was in the pit lane exit. In fact, he's facing the wrong way on the outside of turn 1. I had him on the wrong side of the track there. He rather fooled me by pointing the wrong direction, and so he's right in the runoff at turn 1, and that's why the safety car has come out. That's an absolutely correct call by race control. He was in harm's way. Secondary impacts are always to be avoided, and it's the back of the car that's had damage, and I'm not sure they can even move that car at the moment with the bodywork pushed onto the right rear wheel and Yokohama tyre. So that is a mistake on my part. Thought he was on driver's right. He is in fact on driver's left, right in the firing line on the exit at turn 1. No option but to throw the double yellows and get the safety car out, and that's exactly what's happened, so that the safety team can work at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, Fred Poordad returning for another full season this year in the championship, running for Kelly for Wright Motorsports from San Antonio, Texas. He's a liver specialist, actually. He's a researcher at the University of Texas these days, and he's been racing for a long time. Started out with a Boxer back in '09. Ran the Gold Cup for a couple of years and Platinum cars pretty much since 2013. But yesterday he qualified in 6th position. Today he qualified in 7th. But yesterday that 6th position on the grid, that was his best ever. So he had a good weekend going. Fell back a few places yesterday, but still it's been a strong weekend for Fred. He'd finished 2nd in the Platinum class back in the 2nd round at Sebring. He had some difficulties yesterday, but a good strong early run, and unfortunately this morning he's come to an early halt to his race.
The safety car is still leading round the competitors for the 2nd race of the weekend here at Watkins Glen International for the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. And even in the sunshine, I can still see that the safety car lights are on, so clean up after the accident not quite done. I'm John Hindhoff, and Jeremy Shaw is having a look at the front of the field. What are you looking at, Jeremy?
A glimpse of the number 3 car, the Hertz JDX racing car at the front of the field. You can see there's a grey bumper on the back of that car. The front of the car looks fine, but underneath that bodywork on the front, an entire new front end, a front subframe grafted onto that car after the impact on Thursday afternoon. A remarkable job by Larry Elliott and the rest of that JDX team to get that car repaired again in time for yesterday's race, and a brilliant effort yesterday by Trenton Estep to set the fastest lap of the race in the late stages to finish a very strong 2nd place.
Well, it now appears that there was contact between Fred Poordad and his number 20 car and the Armco, the blue metal fencing at the exit of turn 1. Once again, the winch on the Watkins Glen track services pickup truck being pressed into use, or pulled into use, I suppose, along with that looks like a 10-pound lump hammer to me, possibly a 15, being wielded with some skill there by our track services team down at the exit of turn 1. So we're not quite able to go green, despite the fact that Poordad's car has been removed on a flatbed and is already on the way to the trailer. So there's going to be another lap or so underneath, under the control rather, of the safety car. The Porsche Turbo, which leads the field around, one of the new iterations of the 911, which has been in production now continuously for well over 55 years. Coming out of the inner loop at the moment, leading the field around. Now, did I just see the safety car lights going off there with 31 minutes to go? Let me check with race control and see if we get the message. Yep, safety car lights are out. Safety car lights are out on the chute, running down into turn number 6, that tricky downhill left-hander with 0 runoff on the exit. You get it wrong, you're in real trouble. Having a quick look at Alan Metney's car, the iFly sponsored machine, and couldn't see any damage. It must have been the slightest of contact that is being looked at by the race officials, or at least will be looked at after the race.
Yeah, so clearly there was nothing sort of overtly nasty down there. It must have been, and it only takes the briefest of touches,
you're on the
because these cars are right on the limit now as they head downhill into turn 1 and carrying a lot of speed through there.
Trenton Estep produced a perfect getaway in the side-by-side run to the green flag some 15 minutes ago to start this second race of the Watkins Glen International Race Weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Now he has to do it again. His slight advantage is there's no one alongside him. It's a single file restart, and that's what they're coming back to now. We'll have around about 29 minutes of the 45 to go. Estep backing them up. The safety car has cleared out and is heading into the pit lane now. Coming through the final corner and is now in the pit lane.
The boot was on the other foot yesterday because those front two were transposed in terms of positions, and Trenton Estep certainly will have seen what Roman DeAndrews did yesterday. He got on the throttle as they went into the final corner.
Exactly, he's learned, and Estep is on the loud pedal, nice and early. Green, 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 overtaking going on behind, but that's fine, the green flag is out. 29 minutes to go, bar 5 seconds as they came across the line, and Estep gets an even better start. A little bit of a slide by DeAngelis on cold front. DeAngelis is off. DeAngelis has gone off. He slid into the first corner. Maybe not quite enough heat in the Yokohamas as he went downhill there. It's really tricky braking point because you carry momentum down the hill, and he's going to be under pressure from Maxwell Root, who gets a good run out of the S's. Max Root's eyes must have lit up there for a moment, defensive in the middle of the road. DeAngelis will keep hold of second position as they go. Oh, and off behind them, it's the 27. That's Carrazzo. That's the second time he's been involved in an incident today. That was this weekend, rather. That's the rebuilt car, only got back here late yesterday afternoon. The NGT boys took it away 3 hours up the road to a body shop, and that's going to be another full course yellow. 74 going through there is the Kerr car. Now I think he just checked up to miss what was going on. So is that Wayne Ducote's car?
I fear it might be, because Wayne was directly ahead of him at the restart. The 73-year-old.
In the 73 car, they've come to a halt right next to a Marshall's Point. There's bits of Porsches that we don't need to be seeing lying on the road. And
accident happened fairly early.
Yeah, it is Ducote. And it was Carrazzo trying to go around the outside, or was it Wayne? Yes, it must have been Carrazzo trying to go around the outside because Wayne restarted ahead. Side-by-side contact with the right front wheel of Carrazzo to the left front wheel of Wayne Ducote, and they do stick out at the bottom, and that's all it needed.
That was kind of weird because, Carrazzo was kind of mainly past Ducote there as they're going through the S's there. Plenty of room on his left.
With the benefit of another look at it, it was rear wheel contact.
Right.
Rear wheel contact, side to side.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so. I just saw a little puff of smoke, Jeremy, as Carrazzo was going round the outside. So whether
rear wheel of number 27 car, front wheel of the 73 car.
Yes.
Yes, I agree, yes.
Yes.
So you know, Carrazzo was almost past him. He was sort of 3/4 of the way past, and there was plenty of room to the left of Wayne there. So that was a slightly strange incident.
You do sort of drift out there. Are you coming out of a right-hander, or you're going round a right-hander, and you can sort of just drift out. It's flat, absolutely flat up there, even on a restart.
Oh, well, is it?
As soon as you get over the top of the hill.
Oh, when you get over the top of the hill, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they were over the top of the hill there. They were coming into the last section of it. There's going to be debris on the circuit here. The safety car is at that point. Carrazzo, well, not happy.
The contact was certainly on the rear end of his car, so he's already had an incident this weekend. So
Wayne Ducote not
very
happy
disappointed
with what's happened, and Carrazzo is out of his car, and he's not happy either. Wayne Ducote is wearing the white suit, and Carrazzo's going down towards him and motioning that he should have been watching his mirrors, I think is what I'm reading from the body language. I don't think I'd be putting them in the same recovery vehicle, and Carrazzo needs to calm himself down a little bit here. I know he's had a nasty shock, but he's not going to do himself any good.
50-year age differential there between those two, 52 years actually.
Well, Wayne Ducote feels comfortable enough to take his helmet off. He's getting into the back of the GTS Cayenne. Carrazzo is directly ahead of him, still with helmet on, and the cleanup will continue.
That's disappointing. Incidentally, when by the time they came past here, Max Root had managed to get past Roman De Angelis.
Right.
We didn't see where that happened, because certainly when they went into the inner loop, having made that mistake down at turn 1, Roman De Angelis was defending, and he seemed to have held that the advantage through the inner loop, so he must have lost it later on in the lap. But Max Root has appeared now in second place, in car number 7 ahead of number 1.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
24 minutes to go, Jeremy, and this is going to be another lengthy clean-up. We were just praising the guys on the Saturday race for how well they had behaved themselves, and when you don't have to save your car for another race for the weekend, it's all gone a little bit pear-shaped. But Trenton Estep will still be leading when they come back round again.
And that was almost a mirror image of yesterday's restart there, with a brilliant restart by Trenton Estep. Got a good jump coming off that final corner, a clear lead into turn 1, and in second place Roman De Angelis to try to carry the same sort of speed in there, but as you were suggesting, I think Yokohama tyres not quite fully up to temperature, trying to carry a bit too much speed through the apex, ran wide at the exit, left him vulnerable as they went onto the back straight, and ultimately the pass was made by Max Root. Also a change of position in the lead of the Masters class, because Michael Levitas in car number 36 found a way past Alan Metney's number 99 on that restart lap.
Yeah, it's still Victor Gomez, the 4th in the 25 car in 10th position, that leads the gold category for the Gen 1 Type 991s, 911s. The car got very, very loose on turning for Roman De Angelis, and then he was fighting it. And thank goodness there's a lot of runoff down there, but that really killed his exit from turn 1 and ultimately allowed the pass to be made later in the lap by Maxwell Root. It looked to me as though he just lost the back end of the car, Jeremy, as he was braking into turn 1. And And at that point, he wasn't going to make the apex, and he was running out of road. Plenty of runoff there at turn 1. It is dusty and dirty as well, which is another thing that may have caused D'Angelo some problems with a bit of crud on the tyres.
Yeah, very much so.
And that can take a lap or two to clean off. And young Max Root deciding that he would take the opportunity. Hearing from race control that the current order behind the safety car is being looked at to make sure it's right for when the full course yellows came out, of course. If there was any passing post that, then that will have to be redressed. Cleanup crew on site of the two-car incident that has seen Ducati and Carrazzo's cars come together. 73 and 27 already out of the running. Fred Poedad had a brush with the turn 1 exit wall in the number 20, possibly after contact with the number 99, Alan Metney. That incident will be reviewed after the race. The incident between the two drivers that I just mentioned, Ducati and Carrazzo, well, I'm sure that will be looked at as well, but both of those cars are out of the race, so penalties not to be applied, but perhaps a little chat with one or both of those drivers. That is at the discretion of the race director, of course. There'll just be a bit of a worry about any debris on the circuit around that incident. We've lost another heap of time, and if this is going to be a sprint to the line with cars that are still relatively heavy because they haven't used a lot of fuel but still have a lot of life in their Yokohama tyres. It's very, very light contact side to side between Carrazzo and Ducati.
It was definitely left front of Ducati's car to the rear of Carrazzo's car, so I can certainly understand why Sebastian is upset there. He had been presumably making the pass, and he seemed to be pretty much all the way around. There was plenty of room on either side of the road. They were kind of in the middle of the track at that point because you're kind of transitioning, as you were suggesting a little while ago, through the S's there. It's a very, very fast part of the course.
The unmistakable sound of flat 6 engines means that it's the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. Second race of the Watkins Glen weekend on the Salen's 6 hours of the Glen IMSA weekend. One of the IMSA development series. The safety car has turned off the amber flashing lights on the top of that glorious Porsche 911 Turbo that is leading the field around. And we will go back to green flag racing. The incident that has given us all of this full course yellow between Carrazzo and Ducati will be reviewed after the race, but both of those cars are looking somewhat pre-loved, bit second-hand, the pair of those, and they'll need some work before the August race at Road America. Now it's down to Trenton Estep, and this time it's Maxwell Root right on his tailpipes. He went hard just into the entry of the final corner on the last restart. He's weaving left and right, which he shouldn't really be doing once the safety car is gone. And he gets a good start, not quite at the gap that he had last time around, but goes across the line and down towards turn 1. 14.5 minutes to go, and Root's right there. Root is closing in, less than a Porsche's length between them. Meantime, down the inside, straight on at turn number 1, Anthony Imperato, who's a long way down the field and has just gone straight on. Where did he start? 6th position, and went straight on at the first corner. Managed to pull up that machine just before clipping the outer barriers, and I think he'll be back in the fight. Meantime, Victor Gomez and Mark Kavame were going back at each other again as well in the braking area as the leader goes through the inner loop and touring car style gets the front of the car off the ground as he clobbers the curb. That's quite unusual to see people doing that through there because it doesn't settle the car, but he's getting it, Jeremy, very straight before he does that. Very clever piece of driving.
Yeah, he did it at the very beginning of the race as well. I noted that the car seemed to be quite a long way in the air. Maxwell Root there putting a wheel on the grass coming out of the ankle of the boot there. Here's another view of the restart. And once again, that was a good restart by Maxwell. Really kept the pressure right on Trenton Estep.
Now, what happened to Imperato? Did he just miss his braking area? Yes, he did. But interestingly, it looked to me as though Victor Gomez got by Mark Kavame. As he, was that Charlie Luck going past?
Charlie Luck. Yeah.
Charlie Luck going past Victor Gomez. Sorry, got that the wrong way around. Yes. Victor in the light blue car. But that's a position lost for Victor. But it doesn't change the fact that he's still leading the gold category. It's been a good restart lap for Trenton Estep, who's going to come to the line with a huge gap between himself and Maxwell Root. After that mistake at turn number 6, he's now coming under pressure. Great battles, DeAngelis and Coltman going at it down into turn 1. Coltman down the inside. Doesn't quite have the overlap, but he's got a nice run. Tries to go on the right-hand side, going up the hill, but then drops back in. Taking the draft from the car ahead. Roman DeAngelis in the Kelly Moss Road and Race prepared machine. The white car with the green stripes on it. Through turn 4, the scene of the accident that has cost us so much racing time. Now barely a dozen minutes to go to the checkered flag.
That's right, and the battle for second place is pretty intense there. Maxwell Root, his previous best finish is a 3rd place coming into this round, so he's looking to get one step higher onto the podium. That came actually in his debut at Sebring in the first race of the season. He finished in 3rd place. Since then, his best result up until yesterday, when he finished 3rd also, had been a couple of 5th place finishes, so it's been a good weekend for young Maxwell Root.
Sitting at the moment in that 2nd position, but fully a 2.5 seconds behind the leader after that small mistake. But he's got a little bit of a breathing space between himself and Roman DeAngelis. Then it's Coltman, who's just a 10th or so further back. Those 3 are where the action is at the moment. 7-1 and 71 disputing 2nd place, with Trenton Estep in the number 3 gold and black JDX racing car, and a bit of grey this weekend with the new rear valance and bumper on that car. Victor Gomez still leading the GT3 gold category ahead of Fazekas in 2nd, and Bill Smith backing up his career best 2nd place finish in that category yesterday with a 3rd on the road so far. But he's got Rob Ferriol right in behind him in the 5. Keep an eye on that as well. Lead has gone through. Here comes 2nd, 3rd and 4th. As I say them, they go underneath the IMSA radio booth. Coltman down the inside again on DeAngelis. They're side by side through the exit of turn 1, and Imperato rejoining from the pit lane just to their right. That was an inopportune moment for that to happen. Still side by side through the S's. Oh, come on guys, play clever. Yes, they did. That was good driving by both. I was heart in the mouth there. We've seen all sorts of incidents there in the past. But it looks like Coltman's got a quick car at the moment, Jeremy.
He does indeed. As we've seen on all of the restarts, all starts this season, he's been right away, right on the gas right away. He gets that, the tyres up to temperature right away. He's really able to push hard early in a stint, and that was heads-up driving by Coltman. If he'd have pressed the issue there, that could have ended in disaster. He very wisely, I believe, just backed off just enough to allow the number 1 car to maintain its slight edge.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
Under 10 minutes to go. Second race of the weekend for the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama here at Watkins Glen. Second, third and fourth are together. The red, white and blue car is Maxwell Root. That's the number 7 in second. Then Roman De Angelis in the white with green. And then in the grey car, that is the German David Kolkman. Park Place Porsche supported machine. Already had some success this weekend. They're coming onto the front straight now. Ahead of them, Trenton Estep, the number 3 car. Ooh, looks to be pulling away just a little bit from this battle. New fastest lap for Trenton Estep at the front of the field, 52.1. And he's pulling away now, nearly 3 seconds the advantage from Root, De Angelis, Kolkman. Then a couple of seconds and more to Boss in 5th place. Alan Metney leads the Masters charge, the 99 car in 6th position.
That's right, he got back ahead of Michael Levitas.
Victor Gomez. Victor Gomez is a problem, is it? Or is that the 43? It's Cavami, yeah.
I think right front problem.
Yeah, he went right off at turn 1 and he's got a broken right front suspension or steering arm, and he's going to do well to get that back. He's on the grass. Now, Mark was battling with Charlie Look and Mike Levitas, the 3 of them, in 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the Masters category.
Well, they were all very, very close. He had a contact between Luck on the inside and Cavami on the outside. Wow, that's a hard whack.
Yeah, and that's broken the front steering on the 43 car.
Yes, that was bizarre.
Yeah, Look coming down the inside into turn 1. Thought he had position, but he was drifting out to the outside. Cavami already wide and getting wider. And did he hit the barrier as well? Yes, he did, but he didn't have any steering at that point. Cavami being involved in a few little incidents this weekend.
Yeah,
not sure that one was of his own making.
No, I don't think it was either. I mean, he was holding position on the outside. It was Charlie Luck that dived to the inside. They both kind of got on the curbs next to the corner, and Charlie Luck's car just sort of took a leap to the left, which is where Cavami's car was already on that piece of asphalt.
And for what, is this the 3rd time now?
Yes.
That the safety car will have to send it out for some more fuel at the moment, and this could be all she wrote, I'm afraid, Jeremy. This one has been a bit of an accident fest, which was a shame because we were having a great battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th there. Trenton Estep won't mind. Get the same number of points for going through the checkers under full course yellow as you do in full green conditions. Hasn't had to take too much out of his Yokohama tyres or his number 3 JDX run Porsche. Slightly frustrating, I'm sure, for the rest of the drivers. Again, contact rear wheel to front wheel, which broke the steering there. And Kurt Fazekas in the 52 just going past the scene of the accident in the purple and green car. He's going to end up 2nd, I think, in the gold category. Bill Smith will have his 2nd podium of the weekend, a 2nd and a 3rd from him. That'll make him a happy man. But it's going to be Victor Gomez who has a 3rd and a 4th, excuse me, 3rd and a 1st in that number 25 car. Incident that has put us under full course yellow between Mark Cavami and Charlie Look under review at the end of the race.
Yeah,
the stewards are going to be, yeah, they've got a late day today. They thought they were going to be finished relatively early and have a nice long leisurely lunch.
That's mid-morning into their day. That would be nice.
Yeah, not happening, chaps.
Luck. This is the way this race is going now. It's brilliant news for Trenton Estep. Despite that huge crash he had on Thursday, came away with a 2nd place finish yesterday. Looks like he's going to get the win today. I think we might be able to get back to green. That was weird, that incident there.
Just
a little, just sort of took off to the left on the coming out of the corner.
Yeah, a little slide. Charlie was coming from a long way back, but he did make the corner, and on the exit, slightest of brushes, the rear wheel, the bottom of the front Yokohama tyres and the wheel, obviously, on which they are mounted. We talk about camber. It means the bottom of the wheel is sticking out proud so that the top of the tyre is tucked under the wheel arches, the guard, but the bottom sticks out a little bit. That helps get the tyre, the Yokohama tyre, flat on the road when you're cornering, and that's what's called camber. And that little bit of angle makes the bottom of the wheel slightly vulnerable to side-by-side contact, and that's exactly what happened. It was the briefest, the slightest of touches.
I'm not so sure about that. It was a pretty stout whack, I think, and it was Charlie Luck.
Sprung at the steering arm.
Yeah, it was a pretty stout. I mean, the car, Charlie Luck's car all of a sudden just stepped out to the left there when he got on the curbing, and he must have known, well, perhaps he didn't, that Mark Kavami was already right there on the outside.
It's his side of the car. He'll have known that. He was close enough. And the way that he came out of the corner, Jeremy, for me, the way that Charlie Luck on the inside came out of turn one, he didn't take the normal line. He did pinch it in a little bit, so he was obviously trying to give room. But then, as you say, right at the exit of the corner, Mark Kavami, already on the rumble strip, he was as far over as he could do. Yes, there's runoff there, but you're not really supposed to use that. White flag is out, by the way. We will finish under yellow. But then there was just a little final slide by the Luck car. I think it was deliberate there, but I don't think it was also very smart.
No, it was certainly unlike Charlie, who's leading, by the way.
Absolutely.
Leading the Masters class points coming into this weekend, and he extended that lead yesterday with his fourth place finish. He made up some ground. He qualified relatively not as strongly as he normally would do yesterday, but came through to finish fourth. And he had a 15-point lead over Alan Metney coming into today's race. Well, that'll be
it's going to be cut down because Metney's going to win this, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and Michael Left is going to finish in second place. Charlie Luck, well, assuming there's no action from the stewards, he will finish third, so he'll lose 5 points of that advantage as we head to the next two races at Road America. So it'll be down to a 10-point gap between Charlie Luck and Alan Metney. This will be Metney's looking at his second win of the season, and he's just in his second season of racing, is Alan Metney. So he's made vast strides over the last 12 months. He's really taken it seriously and has been showing very, very good speed.
The bright red safety car has led more laps than anyone else in this 8th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, the second of two races at the Sirland 6 Hours of the Glen IMSA event. The IMSA Development Series not quite giving us the action that we're used to in this second race. It's the last lap. We will finish under yellow, and it will be another win for JDX and for Trenton Estep, with Maxwell Root on the podium in second place and Roman De Angelis in third. This could have been a really, really bad weekend for Trenton Estep. Car off into the barriers with a unexpected and heavy rain shower in practice, catching him out whilst he was on slick tyres. It had been wet at the start of the session. It got drier, everyone went onto slicks, and then the rain rolled back in. And there was a time in the early part of the week when Estep must have thought that his weekend had gone really, really south. But the JDX guys took off all of the front end of the Porsche, the subframe, the bodywork, the whole lot, rebuilt it, replaced it with another one, got the car back out, and he's had good results yesterday and a better one today. The Mark Kavami car on its way back to that trailer in the paddock. Mark not having the best of weekends.
No, but that was most unfortunate for Mark Kavami.
So Trenton Estep, one of the new generation of GT and sports car drivers, ahead of a very young-looking podium today, Jeremy. Estep, Root and De Angelis. Porsche, the next generation, certainly could be. The checkered flag is out. The 8th round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama under full course yellow will be won by Trenton Estep and JDX. He comes across to the wall where his team are waiting for him. Maxwell Root in second. Third, Roman De Angelis. Root taking that position just before this final full course yellow was thrown for the incident between Charlie Luck and Mark Kavame. Victor Gomez inside the top 10 at 9 will take gold category. Ahead of him, a couple of 3 places in 6th. Alan Metney closes down the lead of Charlie Luck in the Platinum Masters Championship. That now just 10 points between Charlie Luck and Alan Metney in Charlie's favour, by the way, presuming that he doesn't get any sanction or penalty for that late contact with the 43 car.
Yeah, and in Gold Cup, that is the 6th win of the season for Victor Gomez out of 8 races. So he'll now have a 19-point edge over Kurt Fazekas, who had the win yesterday. Another good, strong second place finish today for Kurt in that number 52 car. In the overall championship standings, Trenton Estep came into the weekend with an 11-point lead over Roman De Angelis. De Angelis turned the tables yesterday, had the win with Trenton in 2nd place, but today, with Estep winning and De Angelis in 3rd, he's extended that lead now out to by another 2 points. So it'll be a 13-point edge between 1st and 2nd as we head next to Road America.
I am the trusty co-pilot. The moving part that moves all 2,000 parts. I am the translator who interprets the road, the permission to take the scenic route, and the guide that gets you there safely. I'm not just any tire. I am a Yokohama.
The all-new IMSA app, whether at home or trackside. Get behind the scenes with team and driver access all the time. It's the ultimate in fan experience. Choose your favorite manufacturer and strap in for the ride. With live scoring data, radio commentary, and session results in real time, it's just like you're there in Winner's Circle. The all-new IMSA app. Download it today.
Race 2 at Watkins Glen for the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama, finishing under full course yellow. But that won't bother at all the man who won, Trenton Estep, seemed to have it controlled anyway from Maxwell Root and Roman De Angelis on the podium. Victor Gomez in 8th position overall takes the gold category ahead of Kurt Fazekas in 2nd, and Bill Smith takes another podium finish after his lifetime best finish of 2nd in that category yesterday. An up and down weekend for Trenton Estep, in the wall on Thursday, but on the top of the podium today.
It's unbelievable. It's definitely one of the highlights of my career. This track's given us a lot of problems in the past. To come out victorious is just, it's unbelievable. I mean, I can't say enough about the guys at JDX Racing. It's a miracle we're even on the grid right now, and thanks to them, this is all for them.
Trenton Estep leaves round 8 with a 13-point gap to Roman De Angelis. David Coltman is in 3rd, and Max Root doing his championship challenge no harm at all with his results this weekend in platinum. In gold, Victor Gomez with 17 points over Kurt Fazekas, and Rob Ferriol in 3rd position, with Bill Smith moving up into 4th position as we head towards the 2nd part of the season. And that starts at Road America, another great road circuit on the North American continent. And that will provide a very different challenge. It's fast, it's flowing, and it's again in beautiful countryside. Jeremy Shaw was alongside me, John Hindhaugh, in the IMSA radio and TV booth. It's a big thank you to our hard-working production crew, both here at the track and back at headquarters, and of course to our volunteer marshals, track services and officials, without whom we couldn't go racing. Hope you've enjoyed the IMSA Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA from upstate New York. Bye for now.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of the International Motorsports Association. We would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.